What is the Yosemite Gateway? Everyone knows about Yosemite Valley with Half Dome, El Capitan, Yosemite Falls, and so many other famous landmarks. But what about the rest of the national forest lands surrounding Yosemite? Did you know that outside of park boundaries, there's more acreage of public lands than in all of the California national parks put together? And these public lands don't have any access fees, have fewer restrictions on where you can camp or how you can play. Let's talk about an area we love just outside of Yosemite National Park that is more commonly known as the Yosemite Gateway. The Yosemite Gateway is comprised of 4 unique zones. From the north, you have Tuolumne County and the Tuolumne River. Access is via Highway 120 and the town of Sonora. From the west, you have the Merced River and the town of Mariposa via Highway 140. From the east, you have Highway 120 and the nearby town of Mammoth Lakes. From the south, you have the town of Oakhurst and Highway 41. For this video, we're going to focus on the southern gateway and the area surrounding Bass Lake. Now, while Yosemite is framed by granite and waterfalls with the Merced River running through it, the Bass Lake area is surrounded by creeks, forests, and kind of similar granite to Yosemite. Think of the area as Yosemite's little brother. Except you can pretty much camp wherever you want, usually with no reservations, and guess what? You can also ride mountain bikes. So let's talk about the trails we've been riding. For a warm-up, we like to park at the west end of Bass Lake at the Forks Resort and do a quick lap on Goat Mountain. You'll climb about 1,000 feet or more depending on if you go to the lookout tower, and be rewarded with a flowy downhill through the woods back to your car. The last mile or so they call Ninja, and that's about how you'll feel at full speed, narrowly missing trees and corners that just barely keep you on the brink of traction. On the south end of the lake, you can't miss a lap on 007. If this region was ever to host a downhill or enduro race, this should be the trail. Very little pedaling and very little braking. The goal is pretty much to do neither. The trail has enough berms, kicker jumps, and rock gardens to keep your speed in check, but enough pitch to have you at your speed limit. Get into your speed tuck and do not blink. On the north end of the lake, you have Willow Trail. Willow is famous for its blobby rock gardens that have you picking lines at full speed with full commitment that you hope don't end in a hole, and somehow you always find the exit. You'll literally be laughing out loud. Oh, and there's a bonus. Dozens of swimming holes just off the trails that will force you to stop and take a dip on a hot day. But that's just the starter package for Bass Lake. If you want a real backcountry experience on par with some of the big mountain enduro stages in the Rockies or Pacific Northwest, then this next bit's for you. Thanks to all the boys at Yosemite Southgate Trails for threading together and maintaining some of the most epic trails in this region. You'll need to do some shuttle math to figure out how to work this all out, so be sure to talk to the fellas in Oakhurst at Pedal Forward Bike Shop. Starting at 8,000 feet on the top of Shut-Eye Peak, you'll descend Skyfall. It's loose and raw and easy to get lost. Then you'll link over to Blind Squirrel. We're not sure why it's called that, but since it's all granite and the trail is not marked, it will take you a few rides to figure out your preferred line on this granite ridge. So in some ways, you'll feel blind. Link up some more riding on granite and through the woods, and you'll be at the start of 007. Now, 007 actually has several sections that cross the Central Camp Road. They call the bottom section to the lake 007 first, then above that, second, and so on. There are 4 sections in total. We recommend skipping the 4th section, coming from the top down, and instead taking a trail called Octopussy. If you haven't noticed by now, there's kind of a James Bond theme happening in the area. So you do that instead of 007 third, then you do second, and then you do first. Once you're off the dirt, we like to cross the dam and grab beers and food at Miller's. All told, you will have descended 5,000 feet. With the shuttle on the front end, it's about 6 hours of trail time, including a stop for lunch and the occasional mechanical, especially if you're with a large group, which is what tends to happen when we ride there. If that's not enough for you, grab a shuttle up Bayshore Road from the north end of the lake to a trail called Lumberjack. Things start off pretty mellow through the woods while you get warmed up. Then connect to Lumberjack, where you'll get some loam under your tires. Then grab BB Trail, next through some meadows, where you'll follow and cross Willow Creek. Eventually, you'll make it to Moon Rock, exactly as the name implies, and that's the start of Mary Jane. The granite slabs of Upper Mary Jane are reminiscent of Blind Squirrel, but with a little more vertical and obvious line choices. Back in the woods, you'll be weaving in and out of rock gardens surrounded by manzanitas at full race pace, packing heat on the rider in front of you. Work your way back across a wide portion of Willow Creek, kind of difficult to cross there early in the season, up a short slabby rock climb and back onto Willow Trail. Finish at the lake and grab beers at the cantina. So, now you're ready to shred the Yosemite Gateway. Be sure to read the description for the resources you'll need to make this adventure a success. Stay tuned while we explore other trail networks in the Yosemite Gateway and share our adventures.